Okay, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing today?
Great, great. And we're welcoming today Jeff Miragliotta,
Yep.
who is an attorney from New York City.
Yes, absolutely. I'm Jeff Miragliotta. I'm the managing partner of the East Coast offices of Kahana Feld. We're a
Okay.
nationwide law firm, and we're happy to be here.
No, thank you for joining us. So this is all about claims, right?
Yep.
And a great group.
Yep.
I love CLM. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background.
So I've been practicing about 15 years, all in New York City. Very heavily involved in the New York City labor law, which is
Okay.
the bodily injury component of construction accidents in New
Okay.
York City, and we have some very intricate laws that involve strict liability, which makes it a very interesting playground to play in. It's been very busy this last year. There's been some developments with some RICO suits being filed
Okay.
against plaintiff firms of that nature. Myself and my partner, Tim Kapowski, we've been working with a lot of the carriers and a lot of other firms in New York City to try to tackle this, along with the Willis Law Group out of Texas, who's really spearheading this litigation. So it's been a fun time to practice in New York City.
So yeah, so for our audience who might not understand,
Sure.
strict liability.
Yes. So in New York City, in construction accidents, we have what's called the labor law.
Okay.
And in certain situations with, 240 is the big one, height related risks. Even if you're drunk, say you're drunk and jump off, you're still looking at strict liability in certain
Okay.
situations. So that's what's always made, practicing in that arena a little tricky.
Yeah, so you guys had a big victory. I was reading about it maybe 6 months ago
Yep.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that was a trial victory. Yep. We took a case against one of these firms that are implicated with some of these RICO actions. And we got the case on 3 weeks' notice, and the task was to take it to trial. I've got a
right,
great trial team. I certainly am not a one-man show, so I handed it off to my trial team, and we came together with a very cohesive plan, and we pushed it right to resolution.
yeah, I mean a defense
The
verdict
defense
in
verdict is
Kings
in
County.
Kings County.
Uh,
But that was a group effort. You had a carrier who was motivated to try the case.
yep,
We had excess insurance on top of us who was very supportive of us trying the case.
right.
And when you have a group effort like that, it makes it easy for everybody.
So do you think and I know, years ago as a claims adjuster myself, we kind of knew on the plaintiff side, right?
Mhm.
Who would play ball, who wouldn't.
Yep.
And do you think it's the same way with the plaintiffs looking at our side of the world? Do they know now that this carrier is probably not one?
Well, that's why, I think a lot of the carriers, what I hear a lot is that they do want to push trials. And for that very reason, they're sick of paying on nonsense.
Yeah,
And the plaintiffs are very smart. I mean, they have playbooks and they know what they're doing. They know the adjusters. They know what the adjusters are for. They have
right.
all this
Oh yeah,
information. So it is nice when you do get a carrier and they realize there are risks involved. But
yeah.
they say the task here is to try the case. And when you know that at the beginning, you could dig right in and you come up with your game plan.
Mhm.
You lay out all the risks because there are risks.
Right.
But when you have the right team and the right plan in place, it can be done.
So what do you think? We hear a lot about nuclear verdicts,
Yep.
right? And we hear a lot about third-party litigation funding.
Yep.
What do you think the tie-in is there, or is there one?
Well, so the third party litigation funding is very interesting, and that's a big fight going on in New York right now
Right.
because in New York there's case law going both ways, but they're not necessarily required to provide it.
Okay.
So with the liens and things of that nature, we think it's critical to get that information, and that's why we're fighting these court battles.
Yeah.
We also know, I mean, quite frankly, we think a lot of these plaintiffs' firms own some of these lit funding companies.
Oh yeah.
So, what we're trying to do is get that information because that's a key piece to a lot of this.
Right.
That's what's driving it. You get a guy who doesn't need a surgery, takes out a $25,000 loan, and then we're 3 years in, and now that loan's worth 300, 400, $500,000 because it's running at crazy interest.
Right.
And it tanks the whole purpose of trying to get the case resolved.
Yeah. So downstate New York.
Yep.
Hotbed of fraud.
Excuse me?
Hotbed of fraud.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, you have some. I mean, I've got some crazy stories from there,
Yep.
and I'm not even from there.
Yep.
You're from there. So tell us a crazy story.
Well, no, I mean, the big joke we have in New York City, which is and I live right in Manhattan. It's the most, there's cameras everywhere.
Right.
And we always say the most unsafe place to be is on a construction site in New York City on a ladder without a camera around because it's all. So when a lot of this stuff came out, especially labor law arena, my partner Tim said, Jeff, can you look at your labor law catalog? What's the percentage of cases that are unwitnessed?
Yeah.
And I looked and it was 50 to 60% are unwitnessed accidents in New York City.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it was very ripe for that. Well, I will say, not only the carriers are wising up, but the construction companies. We're starting to see a lot more cameras on job sites, and we asked for that with AI.
Yep.
It's becoming better with facial recognition, things of that nature. So I think, for years we were a little complacent. I think people are becoming more aware of what's going on, and that's kind of the goal here.
Yeah. So do you think the cameras are helping your cause?
I 100%, because we even have accidents where the person was never on the job site.
So you've got actual video documentation
so yeah, we can match it up.
and you present it, and
Yeah.
do those cases go away, or do they?
So we use that to make the cases go away.
Okay.
You have some plaintiff firms that'll still push the issue, but I mean, I like having that in my pocket.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I remember some stories. I worked with a guy years ago. He ended up going to work for the MTA.
Yep.
Risk management.
Yep.
He was fluent in Russian.
Yep.
He had spent years in the military and went undercover in what they call the Russian mafia.
Yep.
I guess they were staging accidents involving the MTA.
Yep.
Is that still going on?
That's 100% going on.
Really?
And it's more than the Russian mafia. It's a huge enterprise, and we're talking about billions of dollars worth of claims. And that's why, this is the first time that, I know people have tried to attack it in the past. I will say you have a lot of defense firms that are trying to work together now. We're being a lot more collaborative with sharing information and things of that nature. And we're trying to change the tide on that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tough one because that's well ingrained, and you run, we've talked for years about why don't carriers get together, and you run into antitrust issues. I mean, are carriers working together?
They are. There's certain information that obviously they can't share, but with antitrust, that's a very interesting proposition. I mean, the way I kind of look at it is we're trying to attack something to help the industry as a whole.
Right.
So there's certain data I understand that you can't provide, but there's other information that we are seeing the carriers start to work together, come together, at the very least have their panel counsel talking. Hey, this expert worked great for me, or that expert didn't go well. Hey, we had a great cross-examination on this doctor. This came in, this didn't. I mean, that type of information is invaluable to everybody.
I mean, they say, 10% of our premiums go to pay fraud claims.
100%.
I mean, there's an incentive. I wonder, are the prosecutors getting aggressive on this?
Yeah, I mean, there is clearly a component. We know people are being investigated. We'll see what shakes out on that end, but I think this certainly has some attention to it.
Yeah. So tell us a couple things about your firm. What don't we know?
Okay, so I mean, we're also based out of California. My partner Jason Feld runs a robust CD practice. We have a business litigation team. We're down in Texas as well. I personally, the offices that we deal with on the East Coast with me are New York, New Jersey. We have a Buffalo office, Connecticut office.
Okay.
And like I said, I also do some trucking work and some general liability. We've had a rash of fire explosions in the city, so we do some of that stuff. So
legit.
No, those are tough to say are fraud when you actually have the building burned to the ground. But so yeah, we stay busy, and we do a little of everything, just like everybody else, which we're attacking the claims that you need to attack.
Yep.
If it's a real claim, we try to still look at early resolution, but we are digging in to make sure that we're not paying on nonsensical claims.
So what advice would you give carriers that are faced with, some of these challenges in downstate New York?
No, and so that's what we've always heard for years. It's especially in the labor law arena with the strict liability. What do we do that's different? What we're doing right now is, I think we are trying to do something a little different, and not everybody's buying in. But to the folks that do buy in, we want to have your panels talking to each other.
Yep.
Work with your team, work with your SIU team, run your ISO searches, get aggressive, and really you can make a change.
Yeah, absolutely. If people want to reach you, how do they reach you?
You can always get me on my email. I'm on my phone 24 hours a day. Yeah, I'm not tough to find.
Okay. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much for being with us.
It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed talking
this was fascinating.
to you.
And for the audience, if you want to be a guest on our show, reach out to subroiq.com and hit the podcast button.
Thanks again.
Thanks, man.